So I thought I would record a video to give you a little idea of how I handle the Autobook option in Forever. So the most important thing I want to say is that the more organized your photos are in your album or in your face tag, whatever you're going to go with, before you start the Autobook, the faster the Autobook will come together. So we'll start with the albums page here. The next thing that I want to look at is to go to creating an Autobook. You're going to go to your main page and go to create and print. And then down here under photo books, you can choose the Forever Autobook option. At this point, you can choose your size and hardcover, softcover, standard, or lay flat. So I'm just going to do a 12 by 12. That's what I usually do. And then hit personalize. So there's two different ways that you can do this Autobook. You can get all the photos at once and put them in there, or you can do it a little bit at a time. So let's try, let's do the get started, and we're going to first do them all at once. So let's see. You can choose if you want to gather photos from the gallery, album, tags, or people. And you know, gallery is everything, so you definitely don't want to do that. Let's go for an album, and let's go for just to show you how this works. Let's go for this year, 2026. And if I've gone through and curated my photos in here, then what I could do is I could select all the photos in 2026. And, you know, there's some things in there that are kind of duplicates, I feel like. And I could add selected. So that is going to set up all my pages. And it doesn't do the cover. It just starts with page 1. And so it will go through and add your photos to the pages, and you can go through and make edits. And sometimes, you know, you'll see something, you're like, oh, I don't want both of these, say. So you can click on the picture and remove. And then it will change it up a little bit. Okay. Oh, got 2 of these. And that's where it goes back to, you know, my photos were perfectly edited before I did this. There would be less duplicates to get rid of and that sort of thing. And you can even change from one page to another. So these all belong together. These all belong together. But maybe I want to swap this one, move this with this one right here. And let's see, because this is all part of our trip that we took. Oh, and this is part of the trip too. So let's move this right here. Move this right here. And then if you need to, you can scoot them down a little bit like that too. Okay, so that, the Autobook, if you do it all at once, it drops everything in there and, you know, they're on pages. You know, you can tweak things a little bit as you go along here and say, you know, adjust your layout. Now here's a good example for that, because like if I don't have a big block of text to do, I can change the layout and I can choose a different design on this. So that makes it really easy to kind of, you know, tweak it a little bit. So again, the better your photos are organized, the better this is going to come together. And you can move things around a little bit and that sort of thing. So this so far, see, here's one that's too close to a duplicate. I can move that around. Not bad. So that is one way to do it, where you can bring all the photos in at once and, you know, kind of tweak your book from there. And then I'm going to show you a second way to do it. So anytime you're working in an Autobook, if you leave, it saves what you've done so far. So that this will be, I'm going to just call this sample 2026. That way, if I need to pull this back up, I will know which one is the right one. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to start a new book and show you the second way that I might do a create and print auto book. So in this case, I'm going to go back to the auto book again, personalize. In this case, instead of adding a whole bunch of photos, I'm just going to go into 2026. Find that. Here we go. And I'm going to say, okay, I want to do like the January photos first. And so I'll add, now this one goes on a page, but you just pick one and add it on your first page. And then you go through and you add which photos that you want to go with that. So these are all that same day in January. There we go. And so then that's all I'm going to put on that page. And then you go to the next page and you're like, okay, now I'm going to do a page about this trip. So I put one picture on the page and then I add all the other photos that are related to this trip. Okay, and add those selected ones. And so in this case, you're going more page by page to add your photos that you want to use. With both cases of this technique, with the Autobook, you can change the layout. If you want, to do a different layout, you can choose a different one. You can add text. The basic layout here just has a spot at the top and the bottom to add text. So you can just put trip to California here. If you want a different color font, you can choose a different color. You can choose a different font type, different size, all those things. So you can see that's up there. And then also your background paper. You can change your background paper so that it's a different color. You want to be careful that you can still read your font, so be sure and don't get something that's going to make your font not work. And after you choose your color, you can change it on each page, or you can apply to all pages. This is giving you a warning that make sure your text can be read. So those features are something you can do on either one of them. But, there's different ways that you can change up the background paper. This is, kind of a wintry scene. Maybe I'll do that on all the pages. Or I'll do that in the winter, and then I'll move it to something else as the year goes along. So, but that's a couple of different ways that you can approach the Autobook. And that's a good way to knock out a whole year really quickly. Or, maybe a book for somebody's birthday is to use this Autobook feature. I hope you find that helpful. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I will come back and answer them. Thanks for watching.